Oh man, every time I see a Labrador, I was like, I really want a Labrador. Yeah. Hi there, it's Tim, and today I'm going to be reviewing the VanPowers Seine. Now this is something that I have never tried before, and that is a mid-drive motor. This has a Buffang 500 watt motor with a 48 volt, I think it's 11 amp hours battery in here. It's like, it is stunningly pretty and beautiful. Like, it's really quite beautiful. I love the blue, and there are a bunch of things on here that I hadn't seen before or experienced before. So I'm gonna find out whether this big guy approved or not. I'm gonna go for a ride around Victoria, and it is a bit chilly, so I'm gonna bundle up a little bit, take you for a little ride, and share with you what I like and what I don't like about the VanPowers Seine. The other thing I'm noticing with it is it's quiet. Like, I can't hear the motor at all. He found something to eat. So what I want to share with you is the VanPowers Seine edition has a plethora. Not a big word, I like that word, plethora. It's got a plethora of options and details, and I'm so not details oriented. I have a whole list of them here. I'm just gonna tell you how this actually feels to ride around on.
They have feelings, my friend.
So I'm gonna put the list away. I'm gonna put the bunch of text up here on the camera, share with you what my thoughts are. Just been riding around, what I can share with you are a few things that jump out at me. Number one, the ride quality is excellent. Shocks at the front, very, very comfortable. The seat, although it's more of a style, I'll call it more streamlined. You don't think it's gonna be comfortable, it's actually pretty comfortable. The adjustable handlebars. Now, it took me a minute to figure out how it worked, but it's amazing. There's a little clip here, and I'll show you now. You just unhook it, and then it leans forward, and then it releases it releases everything, and then you just clamp it down again. It's nice and tight. What that means is, because it's got the 2 access points, you can adjust it for your own height, which is remarkable. The other thing I'm noticing is this is probably the smoothest gear changes that I've ever experienced on an e-bike. It's really smooth. It has a beautiful, it just feels comfortable to your hand. So when you're gearing up and gearing down, the mechanism for that is right here. Very, very smooth. It does have, and I remember this statistic, it has 180 millimeter disc brakes, and they're hydraulic, which Michael noticed right away. And you know what? That makes it really, really nice and easy to ride around in. The other thing I wanted to point out is that it has a sensor right down here on the frame, and there's a little piece of metal. When I saw it, I was wondering what it was all about. The metal's attached to one of the spokes, and it goes around. I guess that's a cadence sensor. And what that means is that the bike actually notices immediately when I start to pedal, and it gives me the power that I'm looking for immediately. So in fact, for that, it makes it probably the most responsive. The most responsive e-bike that I've also tried. And I suspect that's because of the hub motor and that cadence sensor, recognizing that I want forward movement, and so it's giving me the beans when I need it. So we're gonna continue our ride around, and I'm gonna continue on with what I'm really loving about this. To me, this just seems like a no-brainer. This is just a beautiful, beautiful machine. It doesn't just look good, but it works really well. And I think as a commuter, it's probably gonna be one of my top commuters. But let me continue on, and we'll go that way. Before we kick things off here, I did want to show you the Buffang display. Let's peel this off. So it's got a really nice simple display. It shows us how fast we're going, how much battery we've got left, and approximately how much range we've got as well. So that's kind of nice. It's very simple. Plus on the side port here, it looks like it's got a USB-A plug. So if you've got a cell phone, you just need a little boost, I think you could plug it in there. So one of the things I am liking about this are the lights. It's got a really nice little light at the front, nice lights at the back. And just, you know, you're riding around, you're hitting all the little bumps because The town hasn't fixed every road perfectly. They're doing the best they can, but yeah, this thing's been absolutely lovely. Also, it's got a max weight of 120 kilos, which just means, you know, like I'm at the top end of that. I'm 265 pounds. What's 120 kilos? That's got to be around, what's that, like 275, something like that? I'll put that right up here. But as I was mentioning before, the cadence sensor, or just how quickly and how responsive this bike is quite extraordinary. It just, as soon as I start pedaling, if I want a little bit of extra power, boom, it just goes. It's awesome. Do we get a photo?
Yeah, well, have a gander.
Oh no, I'm sure it's great. Your photos are awesome. The other thing I wanted to mention was two things. Number one, as I'm riding along here, it's so quiet. The actual motor itself is making like absolutely no sound. The only motor I can hear, funnily enough, is Michael, my cameraman's e-bike, which doesn't have a mid-drive Buffang motor, which I'm really starting to understand why that's such a big deal. The other neat little thing is the basket at the front. I've been using it throughout riding just to drop my helmet in there, and it's just such a convenient size and shape. So I can totally imagine going grocery shopping with this and dropping the groceries off here. Maybe even having panniers at the back here too, which would be kind of an interesting idea. Here comes a car. Yeah, and as I said earlier, the gear changes are exceptional. And the shock, it's actually really quite comfortable. The only thing that's kind of funny is because the actual basket is attached to the frame and not the wheel. When I turn, the basket's still going this way, which kind of throws you off a little bit. It's just kind of quirky. Not a problem, just quirky. But it does mean it's got those 4 huge bolts that go right into the frame. It means it's going to hold a lot of weight. One of the things I really love about the Seine is the actual wires go right into the frame. So it just makes it look so much more polished. There are no wires anywhere, and then they come out of the frame when they're ready to come straight into something like the display up here. 2 thumbs up. Alrighty, so it's now time for Michael's word of the day. Michael, what is the word of the day for the VanPowers Seine?
The word of the day, Tim, is understated. You've had other electric vehicles with lights that flash and do all kinds of things. This bike just gets the job done. It looks really good. You said it's really smooth. I'll take your word for that. And so it's understated. It gets the job done, but it doesn't shout, "I'm here."
Ooh, it's a chilly one today, but I did want to get out and about, and I did want to actually do a proper and thorough review. I absolutely love the VanPowers Seine. It is, it's got everything you could possibly need. It's got the basket at the front, really strong rack at the back, metal on the mud guards. Everything's really quite refined and really well thought out. I love the design here. I love that it's a step through. That just makes it so much easier for getting on and getting off. Adjustable on the saddle, adjustable, and then the adjustability of the actual handlebars. This Pro Max, I'd never seen anything like it. That's phenomenal. I love that. That would save you such a headache, especially if you're sharing an e-bike with somebody, like, you know, somebody shorter, somebody taller. The shocks are very, very comfortable to ride around on. The actual kickstand is robust. I'm really tickled actually by the whole cadence sensor, mid-drive. That combination with this beautiful gear changing makes it almost seamless. Like, you don't even really think about it. I thought at first, because it didn't, you know, I was gonna say, I don't like the fact that there's no throttle or no throttle adjustment or what have you. But in fact, you don't need one because it's so responsive. So that coupled with the lights, really easy to read display. The brakes work great. We found out earlier, they work really well, so that's good. Especially somebody my size. I'm 265 pounds, I'm 6 feet tall. I think this is probably at the higher end weight limit wise, but I found this absolutely lovely. Was there anything I didn't like about the VanPowers Seine? No. Some really interesting things about it, some quirky things about it, you know, like the basket being attached to the frame, which just totally makes sense, right? Because you want it to have as robust an architecture, the engineering behind it to be really strong. So that's really nice. I thought it was also interesting that Michael noticed that there are quick releases on the front and on the back. I haven't seen quick releases on the front and back of a bicycle before. So again, I'm just learning as I go here, and I'm delighted with the VanPowers Seine. 100% big guy approved. It releases.
That's all, folks.